Today we are making sourdough English muffins. They take quite a long time to make, so it's around 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to prepare the dough now, and it's going to rise all day, and then I'm going to be putting it in the fridge overnight, and we will be actually baking them in the morning, tomorrow morning, and they are actually cooked in a skillet, so we do not need to use the oven for this recipe, and I will be using my cast iron skillet to cook them. But we'll go over that tomorrow. I'm going to be using this cookbook, and I can include the recipe below. I fed my starter around 6 a.m. It's around 9, and it looks like it has very well risen. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're actually going to be starting by warming up some milk, butter, and water in a little pot, but I'm going to first of all just put the ingredients into the pot so I can measure them, and then we'll be warming them up. You can see that the butter is pretty much completely melted, and I don't want it to get too hot, so I'm just gonna let it at that and make sure that it's not too hot before you add it to the dough. So we're just gonna go ahead and put 75 grams of the starter into the bowl, and then we're gonna add 24 grams of sugar. Make sure that this is not too hot before you add it in. It should be like lukewarm to room temperature. And then we're just going to pour that in and mix that in. Then we're just going to add in the flour and salt. Going to be 500 grams of all-purpose flour. This dough is actually so wet that you don't need to mix with your hands. It's actually pretty easy to just mix with a spatula or a spoon. Of course, you can use your hands if you would like, but as you can see, it's not a dry dough at all. So there you can see it's already combined, and there's no flour hiding underneath. This is one of the easiest doughs to mix. So I have my damp towel. I'm just gonna cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes. Okay guys, it's the next morning. I'm trying not to wake up Liam because he's still sleeping. So here's the dough, and I'm gonna go ahead and make the muffins now. Just let it rest for 10 minutes. Now I'm just going to cover with the towel, and we're going to let it rest for about an hour. Alright, we are ready to cook these. So I'm going to be using my cast iron skillet. Of course, you can use whatever kind of skillet that you want. but just make sure that you just experiment with the heat, and your first few might not turn out, but you just have to learn as you go. And I usually start it on like middle heat, not high heat and not low heat, and then just like adjust as you go if they're browning too quickly or something. So I just turned it on, and I'm gonna spray just as a precaution so that it doesn't stick. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add in the first batch. And then I'm just gonna let them cook on one side for about 8 minutes, and then I will flip them and let them cook on the other side for another 8 minutes, and that should be good enough. It's been 8 minutes, so I'm just gonna go ahead and flip them. It has been another 8 minutes, so I'm just gonna check these. Yeah, some of these just need to spend a little bit more time. Okay, so you can see the pan is really smoking, so I think I'm gonna turn the heat down a little, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add the next batch. Okay, I need to flip these because the timer went off. Oh yeah, these do look nicer than the first batch. Batch. And here's the finished product. These right here are looking really nice. Okay, let's just open this one up. Nice. Okay, now let's go ahead and taste this. The flavor of these is just so amazing. We're gonna eat these up, literally.